everyone, good morning. Hope everyone is well. Welcome to my spare bedroom. Welcome to yoga. Today we're going to be working quite a lot on abs and core work, so a great way to start Tuesday morning. Quite a lot of side planks and normal planks. You don't need anything, just if you want to grab a pillow, we're going to start seated, so feel free to grab a cushion or something to sit on. And anything that you want to use for your shavasana at the end as well, so any blankets, cushions, anything that you want, just to make yourself feel comfortable. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. I'll just wait until people have stopped coming in, putting it on. I'm just going to keep an eye on my YouTube because it did crash on Wednesday, so I'm just hoping that it doesn't go offline, which hopefully it won't. So if you've just put it on, get yourself in a comfortable seated position, sitting on a blanket or a cushion if that feels comfy for you. You can also start seated on a couch if that feels better, or a chair. We're going to be here for about 5 minutes, so make sure that you're comfortable. Grab yourself any blankets, anything that you want to use for Shavasana at the end. And we are working on core work today, so quite a lot of planks. There's not many crunches, so not much ab burn. It's more like holding plank poses, side planks, and a couple of standing balances as well that require quite a lot of core strength. So when you are ready, get yourself into a comfortable seated position. Either sat cross legs, or you can sit on your knees. If you would rather, you can stay sat down, laying down for this whole beginning sequence, but we're going to do a couple of stretches seated and then take some breath practice anyway, so you can always start seated and then lay down, or just lay down for the whole class, that's absolutely fine. Cool. Let's make a start. So when you're in your comfortable seated position, if you're sat cross legs, try and get it so that you can see both ankles. Not sure if you can see mine very clearly, but if you can, they're not crossed under, if that makes sense. They're both kind of free, so you can see both feet. Don't worry if that's uncomfortable. If you find that you have to use your arms to stay in this cross-legged position, or if your knees are quite high, then don't worry about doing that. If your knees are quite high, or if you feel like you're using your hands on your knees to keep you upright, put some more extra layers underneath to give yourself a little bit more height to sit on. This will create some space for your knees to drop down, so your knees can then drop below your hips. Finding a nice, comfortable seated position, really lengthen up through the spine. Placing the hands on the knees. We'll just take the right fingertips down onto the mat beside you, reach the left arm up, then just start to reach that left arm all the way over to the right, so you're just stretching down that left side of the body. Try and keep your left sit bone pressing down into the mat. If this feels easy, you can make it a little bit deeper by coming down onto the forearms, maybe. It might feel a little bit tighter than normal because it is the first thing we're doing, so don't worry about that. Make your way back through centre. This time place the left fingertips down on the mat. Reach the right arm up and then just start to reach that right arm all the way over to the left. If it feels easy, then you can come down onto that left forearm. Make your way back through centre. Keep the right leg exactly where it is. And just extend that left leg out to the side. Take it out as far as you can, so you can use your arms to just move that left leg across a little bit. Start to twist your chest to face over that left leg. You want to try and press the back of that left knee down into the mat, but it's fine to keep a micro bend in that left knee. Both fingertips can either, option 1, just stay behind your back, try and lift up your chest. Option 2, place the hands around the thigh. Option 3, place the hands to frame the shin. If your hamstrings are quite flexible, then maybe you can catch hold of that left foot. you should just feel a stretch down the back of that left leg and maybe into that right side of the body as well. So see if you can tune in with your breath here. Now just take a couple of full inhales and deep exhales. And then walk your hands back up to the centre, keeping that left leg where it is. We're going to extend the right leg out this time. So coming into this straddle position. Use your hands to get their legs as wide as you can get them, and try and get your femur to roll backwards as well. So try not to let the legs roll in, so the feet are not rolling inwards. Same options apply here. Option 1, place your hands behind your back and then just use your hands to sit yourself upright. This might be enough of a good stretch for these adductors and hamstrings. If this feels quite easy, both hands can come on the inside of the legs and just start to walk the hands forward, maybe staying on the arms, maybe straightening the arms out, maybe dropping onto the forearms, trying to get that chest as close down towards the ground as you can. And just let yourself relax into this stretch. So again, it could be quite an intense stretch, just because it's the first thing that we have done. So don't worry if it feels quite tight. We will start to warm up in a little bit. Try and relax the head, relax the shoulders. Just seeing if you can completely sink into this stretch. Don't worry about having a straight spine. Just let yourself fold over those legs. Slowly start to walk your hands back up to the centre. This time bend the left leg, keep the right leg exactly where it is, so the left foot comes in towards the groin. Just twist your chest to face that right leg. Try and press the back of the right knee down into the mat. You can keep a micro bend in that knee if it's tugging quite a lot on the hamstring or the lower back. Option 1, keeping the hands behind your back, so you're twisting around to face that right leg, and just use your fingertips to prop your chest up. From here, you can make it a little bit harder by bringing the hands to frame the thigh. Maybe the hands frame the knee or the shin, or maybe you can catch hold of that right foot with both hands or with one hand, and just start to feel that stretch down the back of the right leg and into the left lower back as well. Again, just allow yourself to sink into this stretch. Don't worry about having a straight spine. If it is tugging quite a lot on the lower back, then just bend the knee. Just allow yourself to relax into it. Relax the head, relax the shoulders. Make your way back up to the centre. This time bring both feet together. So coming into this butterfly stretch, I'm just going to pop my pillow away for now. You can stay seated on a cushion for this stretch, again, just to give your hips a little bit of a lift. If you don't need the cushion, then just get rid of it. So for your butterfly stretch, bring the soles of the feet together, or as close together as you can get them. You then want to bring the feet as close towards your groin as you can. However, if this means that your knees are coming up quite high, if they're higher than your armpit or higher than your top, the very top of your ribs, then I would recommend just walking the feet a little bit further forwards and allow the knees to drop down a little bit more. Your hands can either catch hold of your shins, of your thighs, of your ankles, or place the hands onto the feet. Just start to allow yourself to roll forwards over the legs, so you should get a stretch again somewhere around the hips and maybe into those adductors again. Let the head be heavy, allow your spine to round. And in this position, if your elbows are near your knees, then just because we're warming up, you can use your elbows, to try and drive the knees down a little bit more. Maybe just taking a couple of pulses, pressing one knee down, pressing the other knee down. Just find somewhere that feels good, somewhere that you can feel this stretch. See if you can tune in with that breath. Just starting to slow it down. Taking a couple of more deep breaths, full inhales in, deep exhales back out. Let the shoulders completely relax. Let the head be heavy. Using your exhale to see if you can just sink into this stretch a little bit more. And then slowly make your way back up to the center. We'll just take one more slow stretch here. Slow. So take the legs out long and try and keep a nice length in the spine. Again, you can sit on a pillow for this if you would like to. If your lower back is collapsing quite a lot, bend your knees here. Option one is to place the fingertips behind your back and use the fingertips to lift up the chest. Try and send your chest forward and you're trying to push your bum backwards. That's going to get a stretch into those hamstrings. Option two is to start to fold forwards over the legs, maybe framing the thighs with the hands, maybe the hands frame the shins. Maybe you can catch hold of the feet with the hands. In this position, again, allow your back to round, so we're completely softening over the legs. If it is tugging the lower back, then I would recommend bending the knees. Allow your head to be heavy. If at any point it starts to feel a little bit easier, if you start to relax into it, then you can start to straighten the legs a little bit more. Let the shoulders move away from the ears. Start to soften the jaw, soften the forehead. If you can feel most of this sensation in the back, if it really feels like it's stretching your back rather than the legs, then bend your knees. Slowly start to make your way back up to the centre. And then we'll just take about 3 or 4 minutes working with our breath. So your options are to either stay with your legs crossed, so just find a comfortable seated position, or come and lay on your back instead. We're going to be here for a good 3 or 4 minutes, so make sure that you're comfortable. If you're seated, draw your shoulders up to your ears, and then just allow them to fall down and back. We'll do that one more time, so just bringing the shoulders up to the ears. And then allow the shoulders to roll down and back. If you're laying down, just have your hands down by the side of your body. If you're seated, you can have your hands on your knees. Either option, laying or seated. You can have one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly, just whichever feels more natural for you. Placing one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest is quite good just to connecting with the breath. So choose an option that feels most natural for you. Take a full inhale in through the nose and a full exhale back out, either through the nose or sigh it out through the mouth. Do that one more time. Full inhale in. Full exhale out. And just start to allow the eyes to close or the gaze to soften. And just start to settle in. So just get used to being on the mat. Starting to soften the forehead, so just relaxing those muscles in between the eyebrows, softening the jaw. Just notice whether you are clenching your teeth, and if you were, just see if you can start to bring a little bit of softness around the jaw. Start to relax the shoulders, just allow the shoulders to fall down away from the ears. Bringing your attention to your rib cage. Start to notice any movements with the rib cage as you breathe. So maybe that expansion with the inhales. And maybe that softening or that sinking sensation with the exhales. Allow your hands and your feet to feel heavy wherever they are. And just start to observe any sensations in the body. So any movements in the body that happen with the breath. Whether that's the rise of the shoulders, the rise of the belly, the rise of the chest. anywhere in the body that feels like it's gripping or that feels tight or achy from a weekend of cycling or running or sitting. And see if you can start to relax those areas, so especially into the shoulders, maybe making a couple of circles with the neck if that feels good. And just start to bring your attention to your breath, so fully to the breath. So just noticing how your breath feels today. Noticing the length of the breath, the length of the inhales, the length of the exhales. Noticing the quality of the breath, so whether it gets stuck anywhere, whether it feels quite deep, whether it feels quite erratic. Notice where in your body you're breathing from, or where you can feel your breath. So noticing whether it's more prominent in the chest, whether you can feel it in the throat or the nose or the belly. And in your own time, start to deepen the breath. So taking longer inhales, deeper exhales. With your inhale, seeing if you can sit up if you're seated a little bit taller. Seeing if with those exhales you can start to soften, especially into those areas that felt tight or that felt like they were gripping. Just see if you can relax, soften into those areas. Wherever you are, whether you're seated or whether you're laying down, see if you can start to tuck your chin slightly. This is going to start to lengthen the cervical spine, so the neck area. It's like you're trying to create this double chin. When we sit at a desk or when we sit down, it's quite easy to let the chin come up and collapse into the shoulders. But if you just tuck that chin slightly, it's a really good stretch for the neck. Coming back to that breath, so full inhales in, deep exhales back out. We'll stay here for about 5 more rounds of breath. With your inhales, see if you can start to cultivate your diaphragm breathing, so filling up the belly with air. So really get as much air into the belly as you can with the inhales. And with the exhales, just starting to draw the belly button back towards the spine. So the belly button moves backwards and upwards. This is going to start to turn on Uddiyana Bandha, which is our core abdominal muscles. Another element of our core strength is our pelvic floor muscles, or Mula Bandha in yogi, which is a slight engagement of the pelvic floor muscles, so as if you're trying to hold in a V. So whenever you get to the bottom of your exhales, the first thing you want to do is draw that belly button backwards and up, and then imagine that you're trying to stop yourself doing a V. It's the only good way of explaining it. It's just a slight engagement, but this is all part of that core strength. We'll stay here for about 3 more rounds of breath. So really focusing on lengthening those inhales, deepening those exhales. Sticking with that diaphragm breathing, really filling up that belly with air. On your next exhale, just start to blink the eyes open. We will make our way straight into a downward facing dog. Take your time to get there. So in your downward facing dog, the hands are shoulder width apart and the feet are as wide as the hips. Send the bum up to the sky. Just take a couple of movements in this first one, so bending the knees, pedaling the legs. Taking a couple of walks, so switching the weight from one leg to the other leg. Giving your head a little nod, a little shake. And then when you're ready, start to find stillness in your downward facing dog. From your downward dog, we're going to transfer all of the weight into the arms and find a plank position. So the shoulders are stacked over the wrists. Squeeze your bum. From here, press into the hands. Send your hips all the way up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Coming up onto the tiptoes. Transfer the weight forwards into your plank position. Shoulders stack over wrists. Squeeze your bum. Exhale, hips move up and back, downward facing dog. We'll do 2 more like this. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 more time. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot and start to walk the hands back towards the feet. So your chest wants to be resting on your thighs. We'll hang out in our ragdoll position. So your head is heavy, give the head a nod, a little shake. If you would like to catch hold of opposite elbow, just start to rock gently from side to side. You don't have to do that, you can keep the hands heavy. And again, just find that slight rock from side to side. Just release it into the lumbar spine, the lower back. Shuffle your feet inwards slightly so that they are hip distance. Really bend the knees. Fingertips brush the floor, so let go of the interlace with the elbows if you had it. Bend the knees a lot and come up to your chair position. So really taking the weight into the heels. Belly button pulls back towards the spine. Shoulders are away from the ears. From here, if it feels okay, bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together and try and lift the arms up away from the spine. If that doesn't feel okay, then just bring the arms behind you like you're holding onto a big beach ball. We are going to bend the knees a lot and start to fold forwards over the thighs, bringing the arms up and overhead if you have the interlace. If you don't have the interlace, just bring the hands down to the mat, taking that ragdoll position. Again, wherever you are, just start to rock from side to side. Maybe straighten in one leg, straighten in the other leg, just finding a little bit of movement here. Keeping that head heavy. Release the interlace if you had it. Drop both hands onto the floor and walk forwards into your plank position. From here, drop onto the forearms. Find your forearm plank. So we're going to be here for quite a while. We're going to be about 45 seconds. So if you would like to, drop your knees down. If you need to drop your knees down halfway through, that's also fine. So in your plank position, make sure that you're squeezing your bum and make sure that you're tucking the sit bones under. So try not to collapse into the lower back like this. Really squeeze the bum and try and round between the shoulders, lifting that back upwards. Push the weight back through the heels and just take your gaze in between your hands to lengthen that cervical spine again, the neck. Keep breathing here. We've been here for about 15 seconds already, so another 30. Shaking is good. We're only doing 1 of these, so try and make it count. Try not to hold the breath. If we hold the breath, it's a false sense of core strength, so keep breathing. The thighs are active. We've got 15 seconds left. Remember, you can drop onto the knees if you need, but if you're dropping onto the knees, keep that core active. Try not to relax the abdominal muscles. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the knees down, lower the hips and the chest down towards the mat. Untuck the toes, lift up the chest into your Sphinx stretch. So just stretching off those abdominal work that we've just done. Shoulders are away from the ears, forearms press into the mat, fingertips spread wide. Exhale, bring the chest down towards the mat, hands come underneath the shoulders, tuck in the toes. Without rippling the body, keep the body in one full stack. You can keep the knees down, press up into your plank position. From here, send the hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Just finding a couple of movements in your downward dog if you need, or staying completely still. If at any point you would like to take a child's pose, you can. Knees out wide, feet together, bum comes back towards the heels. Let the head relax. If there's a lot of weight, or if you feel like you're carrying quite a lot of weight in the arms, then bend your knees and try and send your bum back. Sorry, try and send your chest back towards your thighs. From your downward dog, shuffle your weight forwards into a plank position. We're going to take a couple of plank, we're going to do a plank matrix. So you might need to drop your knees down. If you're feeling quite strong, keep the knees lifted. With an inhale, pick up your right foot, bend the right knee, and get that right knee as close to the right elbow as you can. Shoulders really stack over wrists. Slide that right leg across to the left elbow. Bring it back across to the right, and then step it back into plank. Inhale, left knee, left elbow. Get it as high up that left arm as you can. Get it as close to the left arm as you can. Slide it across to the right, or as close to the right as you can. Back to the left, and then step it back to plank. One more each side. Right knee comes to right elbow. Slide it across to the left. Get it as high up that arm as you can. Back to the right, even higher up that arm. Step it back to plank. Last time, inhale, left knee, left elbow. Exhale, take it across to the right. Inhale, back to the left. Exhale, step it back to your plank position. Drop the knees down, hips and chest lower down to the mat at the same time. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift up the chest, either in your cobra or coming into your upward dog. Hands are flat, lifting up the chest, shoulders are down. Exhale, chest comes back down towards the mat, tuck the toes. Lifting up through your plank position, coming up and back, downward facing dog. If at any point you need, take a child's pose, and we are spending quite a lot of time on the hands this morning, so if you need to, take a couple of circles with the wrists, maybe interlacing the fingers, just making a couple of circles, shaking it off. From your downward dog, shuffle the weight forwards, coming into a plank position. Lift up that right foot, draw the right knee towards the right elbow. This time, drop your right foot down and try and replace that right hand with the right foot. So if you need to, use your right hand to pull that right foot through. And drop the left knee down. Inhale, hands come up above the head. Squeeze your bum. And just try and take a little bit more weight forwards into that right knee, right leg, so you can feel that left stretch down that left hip flexor. Shoulders are away from the ears. It's up to you whether you keep that left knee down or lift that left leg up off the mat. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, fold forwards over that right leg. Take the arms backwards. Inhale, bring the hands back up overhead. Coming all the way back to center. Exhale, folding forwards, take the hands back behind. Inhale, coming all the way back up to center. We've got two more like that. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming up to center. Really try and find your breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way back up to center. This time as you exhale, forward fold, but keep the arms up overhead. If you have that left knee down, lift up that left leg. We're going to take all of our weight into the right leg, warrior three. So find your balance on that right leg. You can either keep your hands out in front or bring the hands onto the hips. Find something still to look at to help you balance. If you need to grab onto a wall, feel free to do so. If you would like to, you can drop that left tiptoe down onto the mat instead. And then just have a play around from there, lifting up that left leg. Try and keep the hips square. So try not to let that left hip rise up. Keep both hips square to the mat. Flex that left foot and really engage that left leg. So squeeze that left quad as much as you can. Bend in the right knee. Drop the left foot down. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, bring both hands down onto the mat. step the right foot back to meet the left, plank position. Same thing on the other side. Left knee lifts, draw that left knee to the left elbow. So really get the shoulders stacked over the wrists, round the back, and try and swing that left foot round to replace the left hand. You can always use your hands to pull it through if you need, and you can also drop that right knee. So option one, keep that right knee bent or keep it lifted. We inhale, bring the hands up overhead. As you exhale, bend into that left knee a little bit more. Find that stretch in that right hip flexor. Find your breath here, really full inhales, deep exhales. Take one more full inhale here. As you exhale, fold forwards over that left leg, taking your arms back behind. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hands come back. Really find your breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. We'll do this one more time. Full inhale coming all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, just take the weight into that left leg. If that right knee was down, tuck the right toes, lift that right leg. We're going to take off into our warrior three. All the weight comes into that left leg, and then lift up that right foot. Again, hands can be out in front, hands can be on the hips. Activate that left leg, and then flex that right foot. Really squeeze that right quad. The hips are parallel with the mat, so try not to let that right hip rise up. Draw that right hip down. Find something still to look at, and really focus here on your breath. So if you can slow your breath down, that will help you find your balance here. If you need to, you can keep that right tip toe on the mat. Just have a play around with lifting up that toe a little bit. Bending that left knee. Take your time to drop the right foot down onto the mat. So moving with control. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, both hands come down to the floor. Step the left foot back to meet the right foot, plank position. Find your strong plank, either knees up or knees down. Bending the elbows, lower the hips and chest down to the floor. Untuck the toes, inhale, lift up the chest, either on your forearms or on your hands. Exhale, bring the chest down towards the mat and just hold it here. We're going to take a couple of stretches for the quads. So bend your right knee. See if you can catch hold of that right foot behind your back. If you can't quite grab that right foot, then you can do this one standing instead. Or if you've got a strap or a t-shirt nearby, you can hook it around that foot to help you catch hold of it. Just use your left hand as a pillow. And in this stretch, you really need to squeeze your bum and tuck the sit bones under. If your glutes are relaxed, and if your low back is arching, you won't feel this stretch. So try and press your hips down and really squeeze your bum. This is going to help you get a stretch into that right quad. Use this time to slow the breath down. Slowly release that right foot, and we'll swap sides. Catch hold of the left foot behind your back. Again, really make sure that you're squeezing your bum and the sit bones are tucking under. A relaxed glutes will not stretch that hip flexor or the quad, so you really need to keep the glutes active. Using this time to slow the breath down. So trying to come back to that rhythm of breath from the beginning, those full inhales and those long exhales. Slowly release that left leg down. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Imagine that you are a pencil and you're not going to break, so your body wants to stay stacked. Squeeze the elbows in, press up through plank in one full stack, not rippling it up. Send the hips up and back, either downward facing dog or child's pose, taking 5 breaths wherever you are. If you're in your downward dog, let the head be heavy, so not holding any tension in the neck, giving the head a little shake, a little nod. If you're in your child's position, really relax the shoulders. See if you can start to relax the hips as well. If you are in your child's pose, make your way back up into your downward facing dog. From your downward dog, shuffle your weight forwards into your plank position. We're going to step that right foot through to meet the right hand again. If those options that we've already done aren't working for you, then you can drop both knees down and swing that right foot forward. If you want the challenge, pick up that right knee, drive it as close towards your right elbow as you can, and then see if you can swing it around and replace that right hand. Keeping the left knee lifted this time, we inhale, press into the right foot, bring it all the way up to center. As you exhale, fold forwards over that right leg, keep the hands lifted. We're going to take straight off into our warrior 3. So find your balance here. Again, hands can be out in front or hands on the hips. You can stay here or bend the left leg. Try and catch hold of that left foot behind your back, coming into that quad stretch again. So try and find something still. Don't worry if you're falling. Really slow the breath down. Really activate your core. Squeeze the quads, squeeze the belly, squeeze the glutes. This is all going to help you find that balance and not fall over. If you had hold of that left leg, hands come back onto the hips. Slowly start to straighten that left leg out. We bend the right knee. Slowly with control, drop the left foot down. Inhale, hands come up overhead. As you exhale, open up, warrior 2. Drop that left foot down. Shuffle the right foot across to the left a little bit so that the right heel is in line with the left toes. Arms are active and the arms are really straight. So especially that back arm, so that left arm, try not to let that left arm fall asleep. Really keep both arms active. Taking your gaze over that right arm. We're bending into that right knee and we're trying to send that right knee forwards and out to the side as well. Turning your left thumb down, bring that left hand into the very base of the lower spine. If that feels easy, then just walk it around a little bit more, maybe catching hold of your t-shirt or your right hip or right thigh. With an inhale, reach that right hand forward, and as you exhale, place the right forearm onto that right thigh, trying to twist your left shoulder backwards. So you're really trying to open up your chest towards the sky. From here, if you want to make it a little bit harder, you can start to work towards the full bind. So for the full bind, your right arm comes underneath your right leg and you're trying to catch hold of your hands behind your back. Don't worry if that is not happening. You can just stick with this half bind. So with this left hand behind your back. Keep breathing. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Try and drive that left shoulder backwards. On your next exhale, look down to that right foot. Inhale, coming up into your warrior 2. Windmill the hands down to frame that right foot. Both hands are coming flat onto the mat. Step that right foot back, plank position. Walk your feet slightly wider than your hips and drop both heels over to the right hand side. We're going to open up into a side plank, so if you need to, drop that right knee down. If not, keep both feet exactly as they are. Lift that left arm up. Squeeze your bum. Try and lift up the hips. Check that your right shoulder is stacked over that right wrist. If it gets uncomfortable at any point on the wrist, you can drop down onto the forearm. Really lift up those hips. Breathe. To make this a little bit more challenging, you can stack the left foot on top of the right foot, or extra challenge, start to hover that left foot off that right leg. Keep breathing, lift up the hips. Holding it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Bring both hands flat down onto the mat, coming back into your high plank position. This time, lift up that left leg, draw the left knee as close towards the left elbow as you can, and step that left foot down to replace the left hand. Shuffle that left foot forward. Either keep that right knee lifted or drop the right knee down. Place the right hand flat onto the mat, lift up the left arm into your twisted lunge. So really try and twist the chest open towards the sky. Keep squeezing that right glute. To make this a little bit of a deeper twist, bring the left fingertips towards the left ear and try and twist your chest open even more. So you're really trying to drive the elbow backwards. Full breaths, keep breathing into the belly, filling up the belly with air. Exhale, this time bring the left forearm either onto the left thigh or left hand on the inside of the left foot. Reach that right arm up to the sky. Squeeze in the glutes. Same options apply here if you want to make it deeper. Right fingertips come to that right ear and try and twist your chest open a little bit more. On your next exhale, bring both hands down towards the mat. Step the left foot back to meet the right foot in your plank position, lifting up both knees. Walk the feet slightly wider than the hips. This time, drop both heels over to the right hand side, opening back up into that side plank position so you can drop the right knee down if you need. Again, option, come onto the forearms instead of the wrists if it's uncomfortable on the wrists. To make it harder, maybe stacking the left foot on top of the right foot, maybe lifting up that left leg. If you want an extra challenge, keep both feet separate. We're going to start to lift up that right foot. So bend the right knee first. If you are there, left hand catches hold of that right knee and try and lift that right knee up. To make it harder, let go of that right leg. Start to extend that right leg. Fallen star. Really lift that right leg up. Use those adductors. Keep breathing. 3, 2, and 1. Plank position. Chaturanga, hips and chest lower down at the same time. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift up the chest, either on the forearms or upward dog. Exhale, chest comes down towards the mat, hands come underneath the shoulders. Press up through plank. Sending your weight up and back, downward facing dog, or coming into a child's position. Taking 5 deep breaths wherever you are. We're nearly done. We've just got one side left to do. So really slow the breath down. Head is relaxed, shoulders are away from the ears. If your heart rate has come up, use that slow breath to try and slow it down. If you're feeling warm, take a couple of exhales out through the mouth. If you were in your child's pose, make your way back into your downward facing dog. Shuffling your weight forwards, finding your plank position. Left foot lifts. Draw the left knee as close towards the left elbow as you can, and then drop that left foot down to replace the left hand. Keep that right leg lifted. We inhale, bring the hands up overhead. As you exhale, fold forwards of that left leg, coming straight into your warrior 3, right leg lifts. Hands either stay out in front, or hands can come to the hips. You're more than welcome to stay here, or bend that right foot, bend that right knee, catch hold of that right foot behind your back. Trying to stay in this warrior 3 position. If you can, don't worry if this means you need to come up higher, a little bit higher with the torso. So find your balance, keep breathing. The legs are active, especially that standing left leg. You can always keep a micro bend in that left leg just to take a little bit of tension off the hamstrings. Don't worry if you're falling. Falling is good. If you had hold of that right leg, let go of your right foot. Hands come onto the hips and straighten that right leg back out. Bend your left knee and take your time to drop those right tiptoes back down onto the mat. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, open up the hands, warrior two. Bending into that left knee. Arms are active. Breathe, shoulders away from the ears. Keep bending into that left knee and try and drive that left knee out towards the left as well. Squeeze that bum, tuck the sit bones under. With an inhale, drop that right thumb down and bring that right hand into the very base of the lower spine, or walk it a little bit further forwards, catching hold of your left hip, left thigh, or your t-shirt. With an inhale, reach that left hand a little bit further forwards, and as you exhale, bend that left forearm, bend that left elbow, forearm comes to left thigh. Now really try and twist that right shoulder backwards, so you're trying to open up your chest towards the sky. If you would like to go for that bound option, left arm hooks underneath that left leg. Try and catch hold of the hands behind the back. But if this means that that right shoulder is collapsing forwards quite a lot, then maybe just come out of it a little bit more until you can open up the chest towards the sky. Keep breathing, keep bending into that left knee. We'll hold it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, look down to the left foot. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, windmill both hands down to the mat to frame that left foot, and then step the left foot back to meet the right foot in your plank position. Opening up the feet a little bit wider than the hips. Drop both heels over to the left hand side. Side plank, reach the right arm up. Option, drop that left knee down. Option, come onto that left forearm. To make it harder, either keep the feet as they are or stack right foot on top of left foot. Make it extra hard. See if you can start to hover that right foot off that left foot. Keep lifting up the hips. Check that the left shoulder is stacked over the left wrist. Keep breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Spin it back around into your plank position. Lift up that right foot. Draw the right knee as close towards the right elbow as you can. And then swing that foot around, replace the right hand. Either keeping that left knee lifted or drop the left knee down. Left hand is flat onto the mat and we reach that right arm up towards the sky. Squeeze the glutes. For a little bit of an extra twist into that thoracic spine, right fingertips come to the right ear, and then try and twist your chest up towards the sky, really allowing that right shoulder to move away from the ear. Breathing into the belly, filling up the chest with air. It's quite easy in these twists to hold our breath. Try not to hold your breath. On your next exhale, either bringing the right forearm to the right thigh or right hand on the inside of that right foot, we lift the left arm up, twisting in the opposite direction. Full inhales in. Full exhales out. If you would like to, left fingertips come towards left ear. Try and twist your chest open a little bit more. This time allowing the left shoulder to relax away from the ears. Breathing into the belly, breathing into the chest. As you exhale, both hands come down onto the mat. Step the right foot back to meet the left foot in your plank position. Last extra challenge. Take the feet out as wide as the hips, a little bit wider. Drop both heels over to the left hand side. Find your side plank. Reach the right arm up. If you need to, left knee can come down. Keep lifting up the hips. Other option, come onto that left forearm. To make it extra hard, For a challenge, 2 options, right foot stacks on top of left or lift up that right foot. For even more of a challenge, bring both feet separate again. So you're on the inside arch and the outside arch of those feet. Start to lift up that left leg. See if you can bend the left knee. Catch hold of that left knee and pull it in towards the chest. From here, maybe letting go of the left leg. Straighten that left leg out, fallen star, hold it here for 3. Lift up that left leg. 2, lift up the hips. And 1, swing it back around, plank position, chaturanga, hips and chest lower down to the mat at the same time. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift up the chest, take your back bend. Exhale, chest comes back down towards the mat. Tucking the toes under. This time send the hips back to your child's position. So bringing the bum back towards the heels, allowing your chest to fall down towards the mat. And really slow the breath down. All the hard bits done now. So in your child's pose, if you have got quite tight hips, then it might feel quite good to have the knees a little bit wider. If that feels uncomfortable, then you can keep the knees together. And you can also have the hips up quite high as well. So it can be quite challenging to bring your bum all the way back towards the heels. So it's absolutely fine to keep the hips up and just try and drive your chest down towards the mat. You can always use the forearms to rest your head on. Wherever you are, really start to slow the breath down. In this position, give yourself a body scan. So just noticing how your body's feeling right now. Noticing anywhere that feels a little bit warmer, whether there's a tingling sensation, whether you can feel your pulse anywhere. And if you did have any areas at the beginning of the class that felt a little bit tight, then check in with those areas. See if you can soften, see if they've already started to soften. From your child's position, walk your hands back towards your knees and come into a seated position. We're going to make our way onto our spines in a laying down position, so placing the soles of the feet flat onto the mat. Hands come alongside the legs. Taking your time to lower down 1 vertebrae at a time. Try not to sink into the mat in one go, try not to dump into the mat. And then when you get onto your backs, hug the knees into the chest. Just give yourself a little hug. We'll finish with a couple of supine twists. So either keeping the knees exactly as they are, or cross the right leg on top of the left leg. Squeeze the thighs together. Drop both knees over to the left hand side, finding the supine twist. Right arm can come out to the side in a T position. The left arm can just stay on the legs. Take your gaze over the right arm and just let the shoulders soften. Maybe starting to close the eyes here. We're just allowing everything to slow back down. Trying to completely let go. We're not gripping, we're not holding. It's a completely passive stretch. Allowing the body to melt into the mat with the exhale, just finding that sense of grounding. Slowly make your way back through center. If you have the legs crossed, then just switch the position of the legs, so the left leg stacks on top of the right leg this time. Really squeeze the thighs together and then drop both knees over to the right hand side. Left arm comes out to a T. Just take your gaze over that left arm. So trying to completely relax into this stretch. Maybe closing the eyes. Relax the shoulders. Relax the neck, the head is heavy. We're not gripping, we're not holding, we're not tensing anywhere. Finding complete softness in this twist. Slowly bring your knees back to the center, giving yourself one last hug. In your own time, in your own way, finding your Shavasana. Take any last movements that you want to take before your Shavasana, any last stretches. If you're coming straight into your Shavasana, legs out long, hands down by the side. If you would rather take a seated pranayama to finish, you're more than welcome. Knees are crossed, legs are crossed, and just come to a comfortable seated position. We'll be here for about 3 minutes, so if you want to take a longer Shavasana, you're more than welcome. Just pause the video. Take a full inhale in through the nose. Full exhale out through the nose or out through the mouth. And just start to close the eyes. Letting the body be heavy for this next couple of minutes. So wherever you are, start to relax the forehead, relax the jaw, let the shoulders relax. With every exhale, just see if you can sink into the mat a little bit more. Let all 10 fingers and both palms drop into the mat. The legs and the knees are completely relaxed. Allowing all 10 toes and both feet to be completely heavy, sinking into the mat. Trying to find complete stillness. If the mind starts to wander, just bring your attention back to your breath. Just observing any thoughts that come into the head and try not to get engaged with them. Just using this next couple of minutes to be completely silent, let the body be heavy, melting into the mat. If you would like to take a longer Shavasana, then just pause the video. Start to wake up your body in your own time, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. Bringing the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. Rocking onto either the left side or the right side, find your fetal position. Taking your time to come up to a comfortable seated position, either sat cross legs or sat on the knees. Keeping the eyes soft or the gaze lowered or the eyes closed. Bring the hands together at the heart center. Bow your chin down to your chest. Thank yourself for taking an hour out of your Tuesday morning to come and practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of Tuesday and a fabulous week. Thank you for joining. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful rest of Tuesday. Thanks for joining me live. As always, let me know if you've got any questions. I will see you next week.